Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jeff Crocker, for the record. I couldn't help but make a comment on this Harbor Heights issue. My wife and I moved here 5 years ago from Massachusetts, and we fell victim to Harbor Heights. We originally purchased the property that's in this photograph, and we had hoped to build a building, have our boat repair business there, only to go to the county and be told, no, you can't have a boat business in C.G., although there were two there. That actually prompted us to study the county's comprehensive plan, written land use policies, and 45 different zoning criteria. I guess the comment I want to make is that Harbor Heights area really needs to be changed. It needs to be zoned to CI. If it was CI, it would probably be full of vibrant businesses today. And we fell victim to that area, as did so many other people. And there needs to be some changes made, rezone the whole thing to CI, and put a nice pretty buffer along the outside for the residences. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 3, Growth Management Department.
Good morning. For the record, I'm Matt Treppel with the Growth Management Department. This is a hearing for petition PA 080835, a small-scale plan amendment to amend the future land use map from low-density residential to commercial center, and a companion rezoning, petition Z 080836, to amend the zoning atlas from mobile home conventional to commercial intensive for approximately 1.9 acres. The applicant is J&M Enterprise, LLC. The site is located in the South County Planning District. The site is located east of Kentucky Avenue, north of Dundee Road, west of Florida Street, and south of US 17. You can see it there highlighted in yellow. The site is currently vacant and is bordered by mobile homes to the east and southeast, vacant land, and an auto and truck repair business to the south and southeast. Oh, excuse me. I need to be sworn in. This is a...
That's
I apologize.
Right. That's right. We have a couple of quasi-judicial coming up, so anyone that plans to testify today, please stand to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony and evidence you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated.
I apologize for that.
That's my fault. Sorry.
Let's see. The site is currently vacant and is bordered by mobile homes to the east and southeast, vacant land to the vacant land and an auto and truck repair business to the south and southeast, and vacant land and single-family residences to the west. There's a closer version. You can see the residences. You can see the auto and truck repair business. The existing flume designation is low-density residential and is surrounded by commercial center to the north, the southeast, and further to the east, low-density residential to the immediate east, southeast, and west, and high-density residential to the south and further to the west. The existing zoning is mobile home conventional, which allows both mobile homes and site-built residences. It is surrounded by MHC to the immediate east and west, RMF 12 to the south, CI to the north, and further to the east, and RMF 10 further to the west. The applicant's proposal would bisect the existing low-density residential area, occupying nearly 20% of it, and potentially making it more difficult to develop residential uses on the remaining unoccupied acreage. Since US 17 is located on a high berm, the proposed commercial site would be functionally disconnected from the commercial center and CI property to the north, and is not otherwise contiguous to the commercial center and CI property to the east and southeast. There is no ready access to US 17 at Florida Street. You can see the overpass in the slide. If approved, the proposed amendments to the Flume and Zoning Atlas would permit any use allowed under the CI zoning district, and impacts upon the existing infrastructure might be significant. Analysis of the proposed amendments show that potential water and sewer demand may be reduced by as much as 45% from the potential demand from the low-density residential MHC designation, but that potential trip generation could increase nearly 10 times. The development standards of the proposed amendments would allow buildings to be built that would be of considerably greater mass and height than those allowed under the existing designations, presenting compatibility issues with the adjacent residential properties. The proposed commercial intensive zoning would allow buildings of 60 feet in height and a maximum lot coverage of 50% compared to the existing MHC standards of 38 feet and 35%. Additionally, the site is less than a mile from the South County Regional Park and also less than a mile from Carmelita Park, and the site is less than a mile and a half from Charlotte High School, Punta Gorda Middle School, and Sally Jones Elementary School. While there is a combination of uses in this area, staff does not feel that it is necessary to intensify those uses. Given the potential adverse impacts of the application on the surrounding residential properties, the Growth Management Department has determined that the proposed amendments are not appropriate and recommends denial of this petition. The Planning and Zoning Board did recommend approval of this petition, and I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Starr?
It was my understanding that this property was purchased with the intent to start a business on it, and then we changed the rules and made it something that he couldn't have the business on, and now all he wants to do is get the value back for his property?
When the applicant purchased the property, it was subject to an inconsistency. It was zoned mobile home, MHC mobile home conventional, which is a residential zoning district. The area was commercial center at that time. Under our current, under the comprehensive plan and the zoning ordinance and such, no development could have occurred on that property at all at that time. In 2005, we did put forth a petition to correct the inconsistency. We polled the property owners and the residents in that area. Let me back up here. Oops. The area that no. There we go. The area that is low-density residential right now, that area, and is zoned mobile home conventional, was commercial center at the time. We petitioned, or we polled the property owners. A majority of the individual property owners came out in favor of the land use amendment to low-density residential rather than a zoning change to CI or CG. So, yes, as he stated earlier today, he did the research, and found that land use district would allow what he was doing, but with the inconsistency, it's the combination of the zoning and the land use that really allows it. So, we took forward the Flume amendment previously to low-density residential. Mr. Crocker was one of the property owners who opposed that. He wanted commercial zoning. But at that point, we took it forward based on the majority of the property owners and had the land use amendment to low-density res.
Thank you.
Commissioner Starr? It was commercial when he bought it. He was going to open a boat business. And right after he bought it, we changed it to residential, and he hasn't been able to do it since.
Thank you. Thank you,
If there are no other questions, can we hear from the applicant, please? Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeff Crocker for the record. First of all, I'd like to thank Jeff Ruggieri and Matt Truppel for their help. They actually, even though they recommended denial of this petition today, they've been good guys to work with. And thank you, Matt, Jeff, I appreciate it. And also, I'd like to thank the P&Z Board for their professionalism and their unbiased opinion of these hearings. I think they're a great group, and I want to thank them very much. What we have today, what I'm going to show you, is a perfect example of when things go bad, when you people are given false, inaccurate, biased information at these petitions and hearings. Very inadequate, inaccurate information was presented to the BCC 3 years ago. I'd like to just start, if you follow along in this packet that I gave you, I'll give you a little narrative. I'll go through as quickly as I can and do the best I can. What we propose is we'd like to build a shop building with living quarters in it. That was never our original intention, but we're basically just trying to make lemonade out of the lemon that we have here. As you can see on page 2, that's just a hypothetical, conceptual layout of what we could achieve there, what we'd like to achieve there. The property itself is very unique in the respect that the back part of the property actually has approximately 280 feet on Highway 17. We're literally within 400 feet of I-75. The property itself actually has a platted road to the east and to the west. I really don't abut any residences other than the one gentleman to the south, and I actually have a signed letter of support from that gentleman, and he gives us his best wishes on our endeavor here. The land to the west is vacant. The land immediately to the east is vacant. We have a highway in the backyard. What we did back in October, we went around, we met with all the property owners and the residences. We showed them our proposal of what we'd like to achieve, and we also showed them what we potentially could do hypothetically with the current zoning, the low-density residential. We could put 9 to 10 mobile home rental units on that property, as you can see in page 3. It was unanimous. All the property owners in there were adamant they did not want another mobile home rental park. There was one originally to the property to the west of mine, and from what I understand, it was nothing but headaches, the police running out of there. I mean, everybody just didn't want another mobile home park. They would prefer a small owner-occupied business. And by the way, I have 14 signed letters of support from all the abutting property owners, and it was a handful of these people that actually came forward 3 years ago to fight us on the plan amendment. They were given misinformation by the county. This whole process was riddled with inappropriate information. I'd like to just let you become familiar with the surroundings. On page 4, to the west of Dundee Road is a very intense commercial operation. It's actually an industrial light junkyard. It is Zone IL. It's been there for 30 years. And the property to the left is being utilized as a trucking terminal. And I'm not trying to make problems for anybody. That is the use. That use has been there for years. And that's one of the reasons we purchased in there, was based on the uses and the surroundings, and most importantly, on the county's comprehensive plan and their written land use, that when there's an inconsistency between the zoning and the flume, the zoning will be changed to match the flume. And that is mandated by DCA. I get this mumbo-jumbo by the staff here. That statement seems to be avoided. That is the written policy. As you can see on page 5, this is a GIS zoning overlay. That parcel on Dundee Road is, in fact, industrial light. These facts were never mentioned in the petition 3 years ago. The staff presented very limited information, very biased information. We were the second largest property owner in that area. We were never notified, and yet we're the ones that instigated this whole procedure. Our vote was given to an abutting property owner who owned residential and was in favor of residential, and it skewed the whole results of that poll. And when it was brought to the staff's attention at the P&Z meeting, the only thing that they changed was the crosshatch map. They never changed any of the statistical report that they submitted to the BCC. Great staff you have. Page 6, you can see some of the residential property owners. Staff felt that this was more appropriate to turn this whole area into low-density residential. Page 7 is Joe's Auto and Truck, directly across from my property. Page 8 is a residential property. Page 9 on the corner of Dundee and Florida, 2 acres of CI, warehouse coming soon. Directly across from this plan amendment site, 30 acres of commercial highway. On page 11, you can see the original future land use map. It's red and green. The inconsistency was with the red portion within the black border. That had the inconsistency. It had mobile home zoning with a future land use of commercial center. That little strip of green, those people never had an inconsistency. They had residential zoning and a residential flume. They never should have been involved. And the county gave them false information by leading them to believe that they had an inconsistency. And they told those people if their houses were damaged 50% more should we have another hurricane, they would not be able to rebuild. And they get riled up and came in and petitioned, solicited Commissioner Cummings, and I think the outcome of that meeting 3 years ago was a little tainted. And by the way, the P&Z obviously approved this, and they urged the commissioners to pay close attention to all the details. Page 12 is that skewed crosshatch map that I just explained to you. As you can see, staff says the results were approximately equivalent. Does that look equivalent to you? Page 13, you can see just they created a 10-acre island of low-density residential surrounded by CI, also on a highway. We were devastated when this first went through. We notified the administrator and all 5 county commissioners with a letter within 2 weeks of the plan amendment. That was November 15, 2005. Not one of the commissioners, or not even the administrator, would even have the courtesy to respond to us. From there, we hired a law firm from Tampa to bring a Burt Harris lawsuit against the county. We were involved with that for approximately 6 months, only to find out that the cost could escalate to $40,000+ with no guarantee. And then finally, I get fed up, and I actually, in May of 2007, I filed a complaint with Mike Conifal. The county did an investigation, and finally, when mistakes made, and Jeff came along and kind of picked up the torch where he left off. Page 15, you can see a letter from our representative, Tom Smith, to the county commissioners expressing our discontent. Page 17, letters to the editor, unhappy about land use regulation. I was trying to get attention to our situation. Page 18, a retainment letter from Bricklemeyer, Spokler, and Bowles to initiate a Burt Harris lawsuit against the county. Page 19 is August 31st. I couldn't afford the $40,000+ to hold the county accountable. And here again, that page 20 and 21 is an email from my representative highlighting all the following points illustrate Charlotte County's mishandling of case PA-05-0854. And then Jeff tried to help us resolve the whole situation. He was attempting to turn the whole plan amendment around and reverse the decision that was made 3 years ago. But I guess he ran into problems with DCA as far as importing density into a high-hazard coastal area. And I'm a little confused because I never had a residential density entitlement. My future land use was commercial. So I don't know where the density came from to begin with, but needless to say, Jeff couldn't do that, and here I am today, bringing forth this petition. Just points of interest. We want to pay commercial taxes. We want our business to be in the correct zoning. We did not try to bring commercial to Dundee Road. It was already there. It's kind of irritating. We see people all over the county running businesses and residential properties. There's businesses that should be in CI or in C.G., and here my wife and I have tried to abide by the county's rules and regulations, and we seem to be knocked down every time. As you heard me speak earlier, we started 5 years ago in Harbor Heights. We purchased land there, hoping to put up a building, and we would have had a business up and ongoing there. And there again, when this came before the BCC 3 years ago, they totally ignored the opinion of the P&Z board, never even discussed the Planning and Zoning Board's opposition to the plan amendment. The BCC totally ignored the comprehensive plan. They ignored the flume. They ignored the written land use policy. They ignored their agenda to reduce density in a high-hazard coastal area. They could have eliminated 42.5 units of density if they only followed the comprehensive plan. And they ignored their agenda to reduce substandard lots. They could have eliminated 83 substandard lots by following the comp plan. And by the way, the BCC has aggressively rezoned lands to mine to CI and IL in the last few years, which is a contradiction to what they did to us. Anyway, I'll leave my presentation at that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Crocker.
I'd like to submit these letters for the record.
Thank you. Commissioner Skidmore, did you have a question?
No, ma'am.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to make a comment? Please step forward, state your name, write your name on the tablet. You have 5 minutes.
Motion to close public hearing?
Second.
Motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
move approval of an ordinance pursuant to Section 163.3, 1871, subsection C, Florida statutes adopting a small-scale future land use map amendment to the Charlotte County Comprehensive Plan from low-density residential to commercial center for property located north of Dundee Road, east of Kentucky Avenue, west of Minnesota Avenue, and south of US 17 in Punta Gorda area, Charlotte County, Florida, Commission District 2, containing 1.9 acres, more or less. Petition PA 08-08-35, applicant J&M Enterprises, LLC, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved unanimously.
Excuse,
Thank you very much, Commissioners.
There's a vote on the
Motion.
on the
Need a
zoning.
motion on number 4,
That's right, the accompanying piece,
the zoning.
which is quasi-judicial. Commissioners, did anyone have any?
I had one.
Commissioner Loftus, Commissioner Skidmore?
No.
Any contact with the ex parte communication with the attorney or applicant or anything?
No.
Okay. Commissioner, and I did have numerous conversations with the applicant, phone conversations.
Madam Chair, move an ordinance approving an amendment to the Charlotte County zoning atlas from mobile home conventional to commercial intensive for property located north of Dundee Road, east of Kentucky Ave, west of Minnesota Ave, and south of US 17 in Punta Gorda area, Commission District 2, Charlotte County, Florida, containing 1.9 acres, more or less. Petition Z-08-08-36, applicant J&M Enterprises, LLC, provide an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Thank you.
The next